Good evening, everybody. You are looking at live radar, the Jamaica radar of Hurricane Melissa. I'm sorry we got on the air a bit late. I will explain. I'm aware that it's a few minutes. We came on a few minutes late, but a very scary situation shaping up near Jamaica now. And so we want to bring you the latest updates. I also need to fix the clock because there's a new update coming up within an hour. Within an hour, guys, new update coming up from the National Hurricane Center. 50 minutes, big 6-hour update coming up. So we are going to bring you up to date on this, and it's the last update had it as a category 2, and it might be more than that in the next update. So this is really a very serious situation, and let me just get organized here. Yeah, as of the last update, it's a category 2. And it might be more than that next one. Welcome to our coverage. I do apologize that I was late. I was actually talking to somebody who was in Jamaica, a storm chaser, really expert storm chaser who's in Jamaica who I follow. He was nice enough to take a second to talk. Jeff Piotrowski, who he is going to be, I'll show you his social media. This is what he does. He specializes in storm coverage, and he is actually there. He's very concerned, very, very concerned about what's going to happen there. But he's there. And Jeff is going to be posting on his social media. Yeah, a bunch of you know him and are fans of him. So if you want to go to his social media, you can see there, Emmy Award-winning storm chaser. There's Jeff right there. I'll post a link to his X account. And yeah, at some point in the next couple days, if it works out, we might have Jeff on live for a call or something like that, or show some of his footage or something. So, but he's there. And again, he's extraordinarily concerned. So we were talking right before the stream. I didn't know that was going to happen. So I'm sorry we were a few minutes late, but he was telling me some about what's going on there. And we were just discussing, maybe we can work something out where he stops in, and I can share his footage or whatever. So I just posted a link to his X account, and Jeff is also on YouTube, I know. This is his channel, right? Is it Twister Chasers? Where is it? I don't even know. I don't want to give you the wrong one. He says Twister Chasers, twisterchasers.com. Anyways, go if you want to. You can follow him on X, @Jeff_Piotrowski. And people are saying Twister Chasers. This is Jeff's channel, right? I usually watch him on X. Yeah, I'm not in Spain anymore. I'm back in Boston. Okay, so again, he's there. He's very concerned about what's going to happen. He's going to be doing his best to stay safe, and I will try to be in touch with him. And again, maybe at some point during our coverage the next couple of days, we can have him call in. But we'll keep an eye on what he's posting as well. Yes, I already posted. I already posted on my X account about several people being shot reportedly at Lincoln University. We are not covering that on this stream. That's not the purpose of this stream. If I see updates, I'll let you know. Last I saw, 6ABC reported that there were at least 4 gunshot victims in various conditions who were all taken to the hospital. A shooting on the campus of Lincoln University during homecoming weekend. Okay, so I will keep an eye on that. All right, so we have about 45 minutes till the new update. And if you're just joining us, this is forecast to be just a disastrous storm for Jamaica. The forecast is that it will become a Category 5 hurricane, but also it's a very slow-moving storm. So it is supposed to be, it is going to be, well, at the last forecast said that from National Hurricane Center had it making landfall early Tuesday. But you can see there's, I mean, this is Jamaica right here. There's already a bunch of rain moving in. So the next, couple days, this storm is supposed to be dumping heavy rain on Jamaica. Also heavy rain in other parts. Heavy rains are supposed to be coming and happening for parts of Haiti and Dominican Republic as well. But this storm currently is forecast to bring 9 to 13 feet of storm surge to parts of the coast of Jamaica. The rainfall totals are projected are crazy, and hurricane force winds. This is the current satellite shot from tropicaltidbits.com, which is a great tropical weather site. Tropicaltidbits.com. That is the current satellite. Maybe seeing an eye. You can see an eye on the rain radar. We were just looking at that. You can see the eye there. We haven't really been able to see it much on the satellite shot. This is the rain. See there. You'll see it in a second, right in there. But kind of looks like we might see it soon. We're definitely seeing clear circulation there. Pat says both GFS and Euromodel show a slight shift east. Well, GFS has been more east than most of the models. We'll look at some of the models shortly. But we're going to get the big new, in the next 43 minutes, we will get the big new once every 6 hours update from the National Hurricane Center. The last speed they had posted in the 8 p.m. update was, let me pull it up here, was it 3? 3 miles an hour. 3 miles an hour. Ruth believes it's getting more organized. Oh, let me just check. One of our viewers, Swifty Fearless, mentioned the aircraft, which is recon going on. If you go to Tropical Tidbits, you can go to aircraft recon. This is in the storm. 2 planes are in the storm right now. What was the pressure? The last pressure was 971. Okay, 2 planes are in the storm right now. And let me see, I don't want to I'm not a weather expert, so I don't want to misjudge the data I'm looking at here. Let me see if I can find some weather experts who are looking at this data and posting what they say about it, because I don't want to mislead people. But you can go get the raw data at tropicaltidbits.com. Hang on, I'm just checking a couple things here. I've seen some weather specialists online say they thought it was going a little bit to the south. A little bit to the south in recent hours. I don't know if we can see that on the satellite imagery here. But I've seen several specialists online say that they think that there's a little bit of south movement there, in addition to moving to the west. My name says the last forecast discussion predicted 115 miles an hour winds at 1 a.m. Eastern Time. I think 6Z would be 2 a.m. Eastern Time. I think the storm easily achieves that, could surpass even, says our viewer, my name. Yeah, Air Force USA says wobbles are very common. So again, I saw a couple weather specialists who thought that it was moving a bit to the south. But we'll have to see what the National Hurricane Center says in a short time, 38 minutes now. The crack thinks it's a southward wobble, but not significant change in path. So we'll have to see if the National Hurricane Center comments on this. So, I mean, Jamaica is right here. This is the infrared radar, which is showing you the temperature of the cloud tops, and colder temperature means a stronger storm. You can see on the right the temperature scale, and purple is the coldest. And we're seeing a lot of purple there. Thank you to our moderators who are here. We have Ruth Krafasi is moderating. We have Roberts Mayqueen. We have over on Twitch moderating Idaho Star, Matthew Kohai 3, Papa Bear, and Tariag. Thank you. Thanks to CC on Twitch and also Mooney08 on Twitch for your support. Thanks also to our Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha moderating on X. And also our Facebook moderators. Thank you to our moderators, Margaret Riley and Kay Lowry Body over there moderating too. So if you are just catching up to this whole storm, this is a very, very dangerous situation. Here is the forecast track, which is going to be updated in about in the next 37 minutes. But the forecast track is here, and I need to do this and this. Let's get rid of that. There is Jamaica. And a really bad thing about this is the amount of time it's supposed to be sitting very close to Jamaica. These are all 12-hour 12 hours between the dots. And according to this, that would be 2 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. So now this could change, but that would mean a couple days of just being close and slowly moving towards Jamaica. And then passing right over it and bringing storm surge to the area where it makes landfall into the east of that. Storm surge possibly of 9 to 13 feet. And Kingston is the biggest city in the capital city of Jamaica, and it's right on the water. And it's to the east of that track line. That would not be a good situation. If this is the actual track, that would not, I mean, that would be a very bad situation. Kingston would be close to the center, but to the east of it. Yes, it is supposed to take a right turn like that just because the winds determine where a hurricane goes. And the weather is forecast. I'll have to go back and look at it, but this has been in the forecast for days now, this kind of turn, and it's just based on how the winds are because of the way the weather is in the surrounding area. Is it possible for it to continue west? Not if the weather, not unless there's some enormous unanticipated change in the weather. Okay, so that is the track. That's going to be updated in the next half an hour or so. Also, this is the rainfall forecast, which can be adjusted depending on if the track moves. This could change depending on how fast, if the storm's going faster or more slowly. But to give you an idea of what we're talking about, there's Jamaica, and part of the east side of Jamaica is in the 30 plus inches of rainfall, possible up to 40 inches. And then the light purple is 20 to 30 inches. You can see over here, this is part of the southern Dominican Republic. 16 to 20 inches, isolated 20 inches. Haiti, southwest Haiti, some of that has isolated 30 inches. The next update for that is going to be tomorrow morning. It says that they will update the rain chart tomorrow morning. And also very sobering forecast. The previous update was quite sobering. Why now? Somehow I'm in Spanish. Why I'm in Spanish? How did I get into Spanish? I must have clicked something wrong. Home. Okay, here we go. These two paragraphs right here. There is a very serious situation in terms of catastrophic rainfall, wind, and storm surge hazards for Jamaica, and preparation should be rushed to a completion in the area currently under a hurricane warning. A multi-day period of damaging winds and heavy rainfall is expected to begin tonight, causing catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides. Extensive infrastructural damage, long-duration power and communication outages, and potentially prolonged isolation of communities is likely. A life-threatening storm surge is also likely along portions of the southern coast of Jamaica early next week. All preparations should be completed today. That's about Jamaica. Now, it also says about Haiti, catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti into early next week, likely causing extensive infrastructural damage and potentially prolonged isolation of communities. Strong winds could also be potentially last for a day or more over the Tiburon Peninsula. Dominican Republic, heavy rainfall could produce catastrophic flash flooding in numerous landslides in southern portions of the country. There's an increasing risk of significant storm surge, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall by the middle of next week for Cuba, Southwest Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos. In eastern Cuba, the risk of life-threatening flash flooding and landslides is increasing. So that's a whole other thing. But we're going to get the whole new update in about a half an hour from now, maybe sooner. We're going to get the new update from the National Hurricane Center. The latest track, the latest forecast. There is the radar from the last several hours from Jamaica. You can see they are getting rain there. Here's Jamaica here. And those thick yellow bands haven't gotten there for the most part, but a lot of there is rain there. I was reading what the ocean temperatures were. It said it in one of the recent updates what the ocean temperatures were. I'll have to go find that. Alert says not everyone there is taking it seriously enough yet. I don't have any live cameras right now. It's nighttime anyway there. Maybe in the coming days I will. Hang on a moment. One moment. I can't just steal stuff off the internet. I have to have the rights to show it. Hang on one second. For what it's worth, this is a NOAA sea surface temperature map from October 24th, from yesterday. And you can see the orange, which I think is about 30 or 31, that dark orange Celsius. Jamaica is right in here. I think the update I read, was it last night that it said 30 or 31 Celsius? Let me see if I can find it. It's right in here. $30 would be 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Where's the archives? Archive. Discussion. Was it last night it mentioned the temperature? Yes. Last night, the National Hurricane Center said 30 to 31 degrees Celsius sea surface temperatures, which is roughly 86 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. In the next 26 minutes, and it could be quite soon, it could be in like 5 minutes, we're going to get the new update from the National Hurricane Center with the new forecast track, the new forecast. Oh, I should look at a couple of the models, by the way. Why don't we do that? Oh, is there a new Google DeepMind model? The DeepMind AI, Google Weather Lab. As I was saying in the previous stream, there are these new AI weather models. The Google has one, there's a Euro AI model, and these are quite respected. They have, I guess, a good track record. And I didn't even know about them until a couple days ago. I think yesterday. They're new, and the National Hurricane Center uses these in their forecasts. So this is the Google Weather Lab AI Ensemble model, and why? But it hasn't updated. This is weird. So it hasn't updated for hours. There'll probably be an update soon on this. I don't even want. We showed this like 5 hours ago. It was the 18 UTC one, so I'm waiting for the new one. Just so you can see what it is they run their model about, I think, 50 times, and then they show you the various times they run the model, what it gets, and they show you the average too. So you can see there's the average, but there's also some differences each time they run the model. But this is the one from like 5 hours ago. So maybe while we're on there, they'll have the new one come up. Elite Chief Stark says they started it last year, did a pretty good track for Hurricane Milton. So I will check back on that model because, again, that one is not a new run for that model. But I would think the new run is coming out soon. Are there any running right now? HWRF, yeah, no. How about GFS? GFS is not running. Oh, the GFS is new. This is the new run of the GFS. No, wait, is it? It is, isn't it? GFS Melissa. Okay, let's see this one. This is again from Tropical Tidbits. This is the new one. It's a little, the way this is, can I change the region? Actually, I liked it better that way. That way is better because you can see where it is. But it's a little confusing when you start. Look, there's Jamaica right there. There's Jamaica right there. So watch where it goes. This is the well-respected, prominent model GFS, and this is the new model run. And I mean, this is pretty close to what the track is forecast to be, maybe a little east of the forecast track, but the GFS has been to the east of a lot of the other models. What was it here? If we do this, see, there it is going across Jamaica there. And what was the previous run? Previous run was where? Let's see. Previous run versus this one. It's really not that different from the previous run. This is back and forth between the new run and the previous run. It doesn't, well, is it that different? It doesn't really look that much different. Furtive Colt thinks the GFS has done a crappy job in terms of track with this. Well, we'll have to see what the track actually is. But anyways, just so you can see, that is the new run of the GFS model. And it does having, this would probably be quite not good for Kingston, this track. If I can stop it there and show you, hang on, pause. It's hard to see with the color, but I mean, that's probably pretty close to Kingston, if that's the track it took. Dr. Checkmate says DeepMind AI is better, more accurate this year. Well, I'm waiting for the new run of the DeepMind to come out. Hey, a quick thanks, by the way, to hang on. Hang on. Thank you to Baron Sawyer, who said, I have done business there, mudslides in your Mandeville. Thank you, Baron Sawyer. Jack, is that true? Jack claimed that the strongest ever to hit Jamaica was a Cat 3? You mean directly hit? Is that true? Hurricane Gilbert made landfall as a Cat 4, did it not? Wikipedia. Gilbert. Oh no. After Jamaica, it intensified. Okay. It looks like it hit Jamaica on as a Cat 3. Gilbert. Gemini AI says that it could be stronger than Gilbert when it makes landfall, and potentially the most powerful storm ever to make landfall in Jamaica. Hey, thanks to Jack, our member. Thanks, Kenneth Colton. Thank you, Kenneth, and Kenneth's mom. Happy birthday to Kenneth's mom. Charisma, thank you. Tech Wizard, thank you, Tech Wizard. Jiggle Jess, Palm Tree, our member, Purple Sailboat, Jean-Paul Lachance. Thank you, Jean-Paul, for the memberships. I really appreciate that. Jeremy Freeman, thank you. Jeremy P.A. Jeeper, 42420. It is not clear if this will eventually hit the East Coast. We were reading an article on the previous stream that said it's possible that this storm will have an impact on, say, New England or Canada eventually, but it's just unclear right now. Thank you, I Am Charlie and Junebug Lynn. And CC143. All right. We're waiting all right, so 17 and a half minutes until the new update, but it could happen at really any time. So the last update was at 8 p.m., but the last major update was the 6-hour update at 5 p.m. Eastern. We are waiting for the new big 11 p.m. update, which often will come out before 11 p.m. New forecast track, new statistics about the hurricane. Will the max sustained wind now be above 100? We were on earlier today, and it went from, when we first came on today, it was 75, and then it went to 90, and then it went to 100. Rapid intensification is defined as 35 mile an hour, I think 35 miles an hour or more increase in the max sustained winds in 24 hours. This has gone up 25 miles an hour in, I think, like 6 hours or something like that. Ted said he's hearing 120. I have to check. I haven't been closely following what weather experts are saying. There might be people who've been looking at the aircraft data and know what they're looking at and who have posted about it. Let me just take a check here. Let me look. Is it out? I'm not seeing it out. Alan Huffman, who is a weather specialist, posted online that he thinks it's close to Category 3. Category 3, by the way, I always forget my Saffir-Simpson scale numbers, is 111 would be Category 3. 111 is Category 3. All right, so we'll keep refreshing this. Again, in the next 15 minutes, we will get the new update. Thank you, Mama of 6, our member. Joe South Oz, our member. Our viewer, Swifty Fearless, thinks it's probably a Category 3 based on the recon data. I am on the lookout for the new update. In the meanwhile, while we're waiting for the new update, here is where's Tropical Tidbits? Where did Tropical Tidbits go? Here we go. Here is the current satellite from Tropical Tidbits. Evan Freiberger thinks it's a Cat 3 now. Is Josh Morgerman the only chaser out there? No. If you missed it, Josh, who I follow, is in Jamaica. I hope he stays safe. Jeff Piotrowski, I actually was able to speak to Jeff, which was extraordinarily helpful right before this stream. Jeff is another storm chaser, very accomplished, and he is in Jamaica now. He's very concerned, very, very concerned about what the storm is going to do. And we very well may talk to Jeff over the next couple days. You can follow him on X at Jeff Piotrowski. I will post this link in the chat. And his YouTube is called Twister Chasers. John Paul says, Jeff, be safe, please. Yeah, I mean, I told him I hope he stays safe, and he's obviously going to concentrate on that. He is very, very, very concerned. I do not have the updates yet. Sometime in the next 12 minutes, the new update will come out. And then we will digest and see what they have to say. Currently, there are... this aircraft is in the storm right now. You can see AF301 is in the storm right now. This one is finished. So there is one aircraft in the storm right now. Now, you can look at this and see like what, you can see the reading. So this says surface wind 110. I don't know that you can directly read off of this though, because I don't, just because they got one reading of 110, I don't know that that means the max sustained winds are 110. This is a weather specialist question. So I myself do not jump to conclusions. I don't know enough about weather. I don't have enough expertise to start drawing conclusions from this raw data. It certainly looks like they got a surface wind reading of 110 knots on this flight. But I don't know that you can directly read off of that to what their max, the official max number will be. That would be 126 miles an hour, by the way. I think one of the viewers was mentioning this. Right up here. See right here. I should have circled it for you. Right here. Surface SFMR, surface wind speed and rain rate. SFMR is stepped frequency microwave radiometer, an instrument used on Hurricane Hunter aircraft to measure surface wind speeds in tropical cyclones. It estimates the wind speed and rain rate below the aircraft, so it is an estimate. That is the SFMR, stepped frequency microwave radiometer. Look, you can see it right here from NOAA. SFMR, stepped frequency microwave radiometer. It even has the picture of it. Right there, there it is. It's pointing to it, SFMR. The SFMR is the prototype for a new generation of airborne remote sensing instruments designed for operational surface wind estimation in hurricanes. Has a downward pointing antenna. So, to be clear, it looks like there was an estimated surface wind speed, surface peak wind speed of 10 seconds, it says, I think, of 110 knots. I don't know that they will directly extrapolate from that a 126 mile an hour max sustained winds. All right, let's go back to the here. And max sustained winds, how long is sustained for? Sustained is typically 1 or 10 minutes. I'm looking right now. Wikipedia says the maximum sustained wind associated with a tropical cyclone is a common indicator of the intensity of the storm. It says wind measuring has been standardized. Wait, where is it here? The maximum sustained wind normally occurs at a distance from the center known as the radius of maximum wind, blah, 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 blah. Most weather agencies use the definition recommended by the World Meteorological Organization, which specifies measuring winds at a height of 10 meters for 10 minutes and then taking the average. The National Weather Service in the U.S. defines sustained winds in tropical cyclones by averaging winds over 1 minute. Measured at the same height. Okay, 1 minute average. Oh. It is a Category 3. Breaking news. It is now a Category 3 hurricane. Category 3, 115 mile an hour. It is a major hurricane. It is a major hurricane. Category 3. It is now 115 mile an hour max sustained wind. Pressure is down to 967. Breaking news. Major hurricane now. This thing has really intensified over the last few hours. When we were on about 6 hours ago, it was at 75. Now it's at 115. NOAA and Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft report that Melissa is now a major hurricane, life-threatening and catastrophic flash flooding and landslides expected in portions of southern Hispaniola and Jamaica into early next week. Wow. Wow. I can remove the clock. Chaz Martin says that's not good. Bunny says that has picked up. The pressure has dropped to 967. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good news. How much more is it going to strengthen? All right, let me see what their other. Let me see what else they say in the update. Oops. Hold on. Now I got to fix this. So I know it's saying breaking news every time. It shouldn't be saying that. So let me just fix that. Hold on. Thanks for your patience. Wow. Guys, major hurricane. It is at 115 miles an hour, max sustained wind. Dare I look at the public advisory? Storm surge is still 9 to 13 feet max prediction. Rainfall, yeah, this is the same. Melissa's expected to bring total rainfall of 15 to 30 inches with portions of southern Hispaniola and Jamaica into Wednesday, to portions of southern Hispaniola and Jamaica into Wednesday, with local maxima of 40 inches possible. Additional heavy rainfall is likely beyond Wednesday. Rapid intensification is when a tropical cyclone, I believe it's when it gains 35 miles an hour or more in its max sustained winds over 24 hours. This has gained 45 miles an hour in 6 hours. All right, we're going to get the new track, and we're going to read you the new forecast discussion. Melissa, I'm going to leave it like this, because it is rapidly intensifying. Do they have the new track posted? Yes, they do. Here is the new track. Let's look at the new track. I don't know that it's that much different. I'll have to read the forecast discussion. That says 8 a.m. Tuesday. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty similar to what, this looks like a pretty similar track to what it was 6 hours ago. It'll say in the forecast discussion how they changed it. But that M is for 8 a.m. Tuesday. So we're talking about maybe, early morning Tuesday landfall. That says 140 when it's over. Let me check the forecast discussion and see what they're currently, if they've adjusted the prediction for how fast the winds are going to be. Give me a second here. But that is your forecast track. Again, that looks pretty similar to what it was 6 hours ago. Discussion. Yeah, they still have it getting to 100. They still predicted to getting to a Category 5. All right, let's look at what they're saying. First of all, Jamaica. This is the new forecast discussion. Jamaica, seek shelter now. A multi-day period of damaging winds and heavy rainfall has begun and will cause catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides. Extensive infrastructural damage, long-duration power and communication outages, and isolation of communities are expected. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of the southern coast early next week. So it has begun. A multi-day period of damaging winds and heavy rainfall has begun. Haiti, it says, catastrophic life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti into early next week, likely causing extensive infrastructural damage and isolation of communities. Strong winds could last for a day or more over the Tiburon Peninsula. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Dominican Republic, heavy rainfall through the middle of next week could produce catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides in southern portions of Dominican Republic. Eastern Cuba, southwest Bahamas, southeast Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos. Monitor Melissa closely. There's increasing risk of significant storm surge, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall by the middle of next week. In eastern Cuba, the risk of life-threatening flash flooding and landslides is increasing. Let's look at the discussion here. So this is the new discussion. This is the new discussion where they talk about what's going on with the hurricane right now. Reports from NOAA and Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that Melissa is continuing rapid intensification. The Air Force aircraft reported flight level winds of 115 knots in the north eye wall of the 17 nautical mile wide eye at 700 millibars, along with a central pressure of 967. Based on those data, the initial intensity is increased to 100 knots, making Melissa a Category 3 major hurricane. Scrubadub says, why is it moving so slow? I believe it's just the wind. The surrounding winds determine where and how fast the hurricane moves. Yeah, the large-scale weather patterns. This next is about this is about the direction. This paragraph is about the direction, the path. The initial motion is now just south of due west, so it is moving a little bit south of due west, or 265 degrees, 3 knots. A low to mid-level ridge to the north of Melissa should steer the hurricane generally westward at a slow forward speed, which is not good, during the next 36 hours or so. After that, a deep layer mid-latitude trough moving through the southeastern United States will break the ridge, with Melissa expected to turn northward and then recurve into the mid-latitude southwesterly flow. The guidance is fairly well clustered during the first 72 hours. That means the various forecast models they're looking at are pretty close to each other in terms of the path. There's decent agreement on where this is going in the next 72 hours, with Melissa expected to pass over Jamaica in 48 to 60 hours and then be near or over eastern Cuba around 72 hours. Beyond 72 hours, there is some speed and direction spread. There's some more disagreement among the different models. But overall, the guidance is in good agreement that Melissa should accelerate northeastward through portions of the Bahamas into the Atlantic Ocean. The new forecast track we just got is a little to the south and west of the previous track through 60 hours and similar to the previous track after that time. Now here's about intensity. Rapid intensification is expected to continue, for the next 24 to 36 hours. Okay, so basically in the last, if my math is right, in the last 6 hours, I think we've gone from 75 to 115. So if my math is right, we got a 40 mile an hour increase in, am I right about that? Right? Wasn't it 75 6 hours ago? I can double check that. I can make sure. Go to the archive. Let's go to the archive. Public advisory. Wait, which one was it? This is Saturday. We want Saturday at, at 5 p.m. it was 90 miles an hour, it looks like. That's the 5 p.m. Eastern, 90 miles an hour. At 2 p.m., I might have been a little off in terms of the hours. At 2 p.m. Eastern, it was 75. Okay, so I was off by 3 hours. So in the last 9 hours, it's gone from 75 to 110. No, 115, because it's 115 right now. Right, 75 to 115 in the last 9 hours. And what was it? It was 70 miles an hour at 11 a.m. So in 12 hours, it's gone from 70 to 115. In 9 hours, it's gone from 75 to 115. But it's supposed to rapidly intensify for the next 24 to 36 hours. It's possible during this time, Melissa could intensify even faster than what is currently forecast. The regional hurricane models show the cyclone peaking before it reaches Jamaica. And based on this, the new forecast keeps a 48-hour peak intensity of 140 knots, 160 mile an hour Cat 5. Afterwards, some intercore oscillations, such as eye wall replacement cycles, could lead to fluctuations in the intensity before Melissa's first landfall in Jamaica. It must be noted, there is very little practical difference in the overall impacts of a Category 4 or a Category 5 landfall. And Melissa is expected to be at least that intensity when it moves over Jamaica. Again, there is very little practical difference in the overall impacts of a Category 4 landfall versus a Category 5 landfall. Melissa should weaken as it interacts with Jamaica and Cuba, although it is still forecast to be a major hurricane when it nears Cuba. A faster weakening should occur after passing Cuba when the cyclone encounters strong wind shear over the southwestern Atlantic. This remains a very serious situation in terms of catastrophic rainfall, wind, and storm surge hazards for Jamaica, and preparations should be rushed to completion in the area currently under a hurricane warning. Again, key messages: Jamaica, seek shelter now. A multi-day period of damaging winds and heavy rainfall has begun and will cause catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides. Extensive infrastructural damage, long-duration power and communication outages, and isolation of communities are expected. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of the southern coast early next week. Currently, max storm surge is forecast to 9 to 13 feet above normal ground level. Storm surge. That's the old one. We want the current, we want the latest update. The latest update, where is the latest one? That's 5 p.m. here. This is the new update, storm surge. Life-threatening storm surge is becoming more likely along the south coast of Jamaica later in the weekend or early next week. Peak storm surge heights could reach 9 to 13 feet above ground level. And don't forget, Dominican Republic and Haiti face severe hazards as well. The current speed is 3 miles an hour. It is 3 miles an hour. All right, I want to take some comments from you guys. Let's throw up the satellite shot from Tropical Tidbits, and I'll take some comments from you. This is a very dangerous situation. Yes, 3 miles an hour. It is not supposed to make landfall into early Tuesday. Hot Pink 90 Sun says, sounds like a churner. CC thinks this is a worst case scenario. There's Jamaica right here. Jamaican G is in Jamaica. Stay safe there. This is an incredibly dangerous situation. It's basically moving almost due west right now. Taylor Hurley says, I am worried. S. Blake says, place is eerily quiet here in Kingston. Please, if you're in Jamaica, do whatever precautions the authorities are telling you to. John Hester says, my wife is Jamaican. We are all worried. If you missed it, here's the forecast track. Oops, that's not it. Here is the forecast track. Early Tuesday landfall. And before that, slow moving, rain dumping for hours. Pierre Dubois, our viewer, says, not a good scenario as it is a slow pace hurricane. Where's the radar there? Here is the radar. And there is rain in parts of Jamaica right now. And you can see slowly that storm is moving closer. And as it gets closer, you're going to get more rain. Paula said the government said they're preparing public transportation to take people to shelters. There was a press conference they had about like 9 or 10 hours ago, I think. I didn't hear about them having one tonight. Hang on a moment. Yeah, they had a press conference 10 hours ago. Some people asked about a topographical map. Hold on. Oopsie. Sorry, give me a second. Yes, it is currently a Cat 3. We mentioned that earlier. It is Cat 3. Oops, sorry. What am I doing? I'm trying to fix something here. Give me 2 seconds here. No, we can't do it that way. Layers. Layers. Terrain. There's a topographical map from Google. There are a bunch of mountains there, which can cause flooding as the water goes down the mountains and collects in, the valleys or the creeks or whatever it is. You can see there's Kingston there on the coast. So Haiti, the part that's supposed to get the most rain, it's southern Haiti and southern Dominican Republic are supposed to get the most rain there. I'll show you the rainfall map again. Where is the rainfall map? Hold on. Here. So there's Dominican Republic and there's Haiti. And that, you can see that peninsula, that arm. Red is 12 to 16 inches. Where's Port-au-Prince? It's right around here, isn't it? Port-au-Prince is right here. Up here. So just eyeballing here, it looks like Port-au-Prince might be in the 6 to 8 inches or 8 to 12 inches range. Dutchson says Port-au-Prince is the earthquake location from many years ago, and then it got hit again a couple of years ago. Doesn't Jamaica have mountains to weaken the storm? The storm is supposed to get weaker as it's passing over Jamaica. But by that time, it will have had, it's got to actually pass over them. And by that time, it will have had all of those hours of being close to Jamaica. And, at landfall, most of it's not over. Half of it's still not over, land basically. So yes, as it passes over, it's going to be weakening. It's supposed to still be a major hurricane after it passes over. So they said the National Hurricane Center says it could rapidly intensify for the next 24 to 36 hours, maybe even faster than forecast. That's what it said. It said Rapid intensification is expected to continue for the next 24 to 36 hours. 24 to 36 hours. And it's possible that during this time, Melissa could intensify even faster than what is currently forecast. They have it getting to a Cat 5 in 48 hours. Hey, a quick thank you, by the way, to I Am Charlie. Thanks, I Am Charlie. I appreciate it. Also, Dewey1851. Thanks for the memberships, Dewey. Much appreciated. Thank you also, Jackie Johnston. Oh, I owe Jackie a thank you from before. Jackie Johnston. Thank you so much, Jackie. Yeah, the rapid intensification is 35 mile an hour or more increase in max sustained winds by a tropical cyclone in 24 hours. So this is definitely exceeding that. Mama of Six and Joe South Oz, thanks for being members. Thank you also to our moderators. Ruth Krafasi is moderating right now. That's tropicaltidbits.com on the screen. You can go over there and see the aircraft recon. Let me see if there's a new Google forecast model. Let's check some of the forecast models out. Thanks for modding Bastion Girl, Idaho Star, Matthew Kohai 3, Papa Bear, and Rift Tracks on Twitch. And Facebook, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley over there moderating. Thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X. Hang on one moment here. One of our viewers said, Sinful Clam says bombogenesis at work. Noah says bombogenesis, a term used by meteorologists, is when mid-latitude between the tropics and the polar region cyclone rapidly intensifies or strengthens over a 24-hour period. That has to do with the drop of pressure. I don't remember exactly how much it's dropped. I think earlier in the evening when we were on it was 980. Now it's 967. But the intensification of the lowering of pressure required to classify as bombogenesis varies by latitude. At 60 degrees latitude, 60, that's north of here, it would be a drop of at least 24 millibars over 24 hours. Kelly P. Smith says, where do you go for shelter on such a small island? Oh, what was I going to check? Oh, I was going to see if the new Google model was out. No, it's still not posted. Still not posted. Are there other models on Tropical Tidbits running right now? Let's go to forecast models over there. We looked at the GFS before. That's not running right now. How about like the Icon or the CMC model? Hey, the Icon model. I believe that's a German forecast model. That's running now. Let's see what the new Icon model says. We want to go to Western Atlantic. So I'm going to hit play now, and you can see what the new Icon model says. There's the storm, it approaches, and it makes the turn, and it goes over like the middle of the island. So a lot of the models are pretty close to each other right now. But if you can see down there, it has it. It's a little hard to see, but it has it, approaching from east to west, making the turn to the northeast, and going over Jamaica. And this is the new run of the icon model on Tropical Tidbits. Douglas Sheffield says, storm is moving so slow. Any others running right now that I can see? CMC? No. Oh, we should also look at a spaghetti diagram. So this is from Tropical Tidbits, and this is a collection of different models. And each line is a different forecast from a different model. And what you're seeing is most of them are quite close to each other for the first 72 hours or so, right? You have a couple outliers. You have a couple saying it'll miss to the east or be right on, miss to the west or be right on the west edge. But most of these models you can see are pretty close to each other for the first 72 hours. They say it's going to go west and then make that turn and pass over the middle of Jamaica. Where is... Yeah, I mean, there's going to, for this to not be like just really disastrous, there's going to have to be some unanticipated change in how things are proceeding. Cynthia Masters says, how does one even begin to prepare for a storm of this magnitude? Yeah, Tropical Tidbits is a fantastic site. Really, really good. TropicalTidbits.com. Let me see what some of the weather experts I follow are saying. The National Hurricane Center says residents of Jamaica should seek shelter now and stay inside for the next several days. They just posted this 13 minutes ago here from the National Hurricane Center. Check this out. Melissa is now a Category 3 hurricane and is expected to continue rapidly intensifying. Residents of Jamaica should seek shelter now and stay inside for the next several days, as damaging winds and heavy rain have begun and will continue to get worse on Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. Delroy says, do you think Kingston will get harder now that it shifted? The track did not shift much. They said in the latest track it shifted a little west, which in theory is a little better for Kingston. It'd be better if it just missed the island to the west, but the track did not really shift much from the last track. You either would, for Kingston, it'd be better if it's much more to the west, or if it somehow went way to the east and missed it to the east. But you don't want to get it closer. You don't want to be getting closer and have Kingston still be to the east of the storm. Mouse and Greld says, I'm in Jamaica now. It's drizzling a little here in Kingston, not heavy yet. Hang on one sec here. Thank you, Jay Noswich, for being a member. So a really scary situation. Lee is watching from Barbuda. I can, I didn't watch any of it. We could look at a little of the press conference. It was 10 hours ago. It was like, I'm not going to play the whole thing. It was like over an hour long. But there was a press conference that Jamaica held about 10 hours ago. We could check out a little bit of it just to see what they talked about in terms of preparation, maybe. I mean, I'm not going to rely on that for the forecast, but Barbuda makes up the Caribbean nation of Antigua and Barbuda. It's one of the two islands, Wikipedia says. Hey guys, people keep coming into the chat and saying there's an active shooter. I'm not aware that there's an active shooter. When we came on the air, which was about an hour ago, I read you a local news outlet report, I believe it was ABC Philadelphia, that said there had been a shooting on the campus of Lincoln University, and that 4 people... this has been updated actually. There was a shooting on the campus of Lincoln University during homecoming weekend. Officers responded about 9:15 which was over 2 hours ago. They found at least 7 gunshot victims in various conditions. All of them went to the hospital. So I wasn't ignoring it. I posted about it before coming on the air. We talked about it earlier. I've seen nothing to suggest it is an active situation in terms of shooting. I will let you know if I hear more. I don't know. I haven't been listening to the scanner, but I have not seen updates about it. Some of our viewers said there were shots being fired. Yes, I can't listen to the scanner and cover this, but I do not know. But that's the last I saw, and that was from ABC Philadelphia. NBC Philadelphia said a number of shots were heard during the school's Yard Fest for homecoming week. Dragon Noise said a second shooting happened at Lincoln a few minutes ago on the scanner. So I haven't heard about that. I don't know that if it's the same incident. It could be a different incident. It could be related. I don't know. We're not covering that here right now. I will keep an eye on things, but we're covering this right now. Thank you so much to Dragon Noise. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate the update. That's what Dragon Noise said. Again, I haven't been listening to the scanner. If there was more shooting there, I have no idea that it was related to the first shooting. Ryan Maui, who is who is a meteorologist I follow, he says the eye is clearing out on the satellite. That is Tropical Tidbits. Rob PZ thinks this storm will escalate horribly in the morning. It's supposed to keep rapidly intensifying for 24 to 36 hours. Landfall currently is forecast for early on Tuesday. Maybe I'll just check and see. I was interested. I haven't watched it yet. I was interested to see if they talked about evacuations or anything on the press conference they did 10 hours ago. I should also check a couple of Jamaican outlets. Let me see what they're saying. Hold on. Oh, let me show you a post. This was from hours ago from the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Let me show you this. This is from the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Now, he posted this about an hour ago. Actually, but that's more this kind of the weather stuff. I thought there was something about, yeah, this right here. Small craft operators, including fishers on the quays and banks, are strongly advised to remain in safe harbor until all warning messages have been lifted and wind and sea conditions have returned to normal. The next bulletin will be issued. Oh, the Meteorological Service in Jamaica is going to issue a bulletin on this in about 24 minutes. Let's see if we can. Let's just take a quick look at the, where is it here? At the briefing they did earlier today. Maybe just listen to a little bit of it. Maybe we'll find. I'm interested in stuff like, are they telling people to evacuate? I have no idea. Oh, just to show you something else. Jamaica Information Service. 4 hours ago, all seaports have been closed due to the continued threat posed by Hurricane of Melissa. The Port Authority of Jamaica has stated they will all remain closed as they continue to monitor the progress of the weather system. All airports were closed at 9 p.m. today, according to Jamaica Information Service. Let's check this out. Let's look at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skim through here and just see if we can maybe find something about, maybe we can find something about like the evacuations or whatever. I don't even know what they're doing. Now, why is that? That's not right. Ooh, hold on. I know what I did wrong. There. See, it says Evan Thompson. This is from Jamaica Information Service, which is a government site. What I'm going to do is, I'm not playing the whole thing. It's like an hour long. But let's skip around and see if we can just get a little more insight to their response there. And I got to do this, and I need to really quickly just put on, this was earlier today. Now, let's see here. Minister of Telecommunication and Transportation. Let's see what he had to say. This was a press briefing earlier today on preparation for at the time it was called Tropical Storm Melissa. So let's see what this person has to say. A little bit of it. I'm not going to play the whole thing.
The hotels are in communication through the Ministry of Tourism to communicate with the airlines to make sure that they increase their capacity loads in terms of the different planes and configurations to try and get out as many of those that are vacationing in Jamaica and want to get out, obviously.
This was earlier today. Earlier today, they're talking about people who want to get out of Jamaica, who are vacationing there. Now, we also read, though, that on the Jamaica Information Service site, they said that all the airports will be closed at 9 p.m. today. So I wonder if people got stuck there at all. I don't know. Did everybody who was vacationing there and wanted to go home and get out, were they able to get out? I don't know. I just don't know. By the way, thanks to Patrick Zartman and Melissa Cam, our new members. Vexel thinks the airport will be underwater. Let's listen to a little more of this from earlier today.
Before the storm or the hurricane. So that in itself will bring clarity, and I hope that this message will go out far and wide. The next one is for JPS, and I have an update that I received minutes ago that I will share with you. At 9 o'clock this morning, there were 275 customers without electricity, broken down as follows. 95 customers in the west,
I'm going to forward this.
40 in central, become more and more necessary as the weather event gets closer and closer. So I can say that that also is in place. So as it relates to the telcos and Petrojam and all the other reports I gave in the days recently, all remain on standby. Everybody is in ready position. And the only thing that I would say before closing is to make an appeal to all Jamaicans. Do not take this lightly. It is coincidental that we had 37 years between Charlie and Gilbert, and 37 years exactly between Gilbert and Melissa. Those of us who are around for Gilbert know exactly what, but there's many that did not experience it. So I'm saying to you, safety is priority, and being smart helps a lot. Don't make foolish decisions. Don't make stupid decisions, like coming out in the middle of the storm to see what's happening. Please, I'm making a special appeal because we are in a very, very serious time over this next few days, and we need all Jamaica to band together, and most importantly, prayers up, up, up for every single Jamaican and Jamaica, land we love. God bless Jamaica.
So we're watching some of this from earlier today.
Thank you very much, Minister Vaz. We're now going to have what I know most people have tuned in for, which is the forecast from none other than Evan.
I'm not going to worry about the forecast part of this right now because this was 10 hours ago. So we just got the latest updated forecast. I don't want to confuse people by playing forecast information that's 11 hours old. So if they have a briefing tomorrow, we can maybe show that. But again, I don't want to confuse people. We were just talking about the new update. Let's see who else is speaking here.
Thank you, Evan.
You're welcome.
Up next, we have Minister Matthew Samuda, or Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change. Minister, morning.
Thank you, Minister Dixon. Colleague ministers, heads of agency, permanent secretaries, members of the media, Jamaicans all. We started the very first press briefing, Minister Dixon, by saying that it was not time to panic, but time to prepare. Well, Jamaicans, it's still not time to panic, but the time for preparation is running out. From that perspective, I want to not thank Evan for his words, but thank him for the hours that he and his team have been putting in, certainly over the last 2 or so weeks, in monitoring this critical weather system. The Met Service is operating 24 hours a day, as it always does, but operating at full throttle to ensure that the information that we all need to prepare and to plan is indeed made available. But to Mr. Hall from the Observer's question, let us not have anyone in Jamaica, in any corner, think that they will escape effect. Let us be clear with every Jamaican that this is a large, slow-moving, dangerous storm, and that it is in your interest to A, listen to reputable news sources, B, ignore sources that are proven to be misinformation on a regular basis, and to tune to those sources that we have told you about before so that you have the accurate information in a timely fashion that allows you to plan and take the appropriate action. These sources, as we have said, Minister Dixon, are the JIS through the Ministry of Education and Information, certainly the Ministry of Local Government and ODPEM, the Met Services channels, the Prime Minister's channels, the Office of the Prime Minister's channels, the Ministry of Water, Environment and Climate Change channels. Stick to official government sources and reputable media houses for your briefings and for your updates as to the state of the storm, because it is a slow-moving, very wet, very dangerous storm, and we all know the areas that are affected by flood, by land slippage, and certainly that are affected because of being marooned when they are cut off because of trees falling. So stick to the reputable sources. Beyond that, I want to update the country that NWC's emergency protocols are now all in place. We have taken an additional step from the updates which were provided yesterday. We have moved to secure power supply additionally for our loading bays, for our trucking services. We have also moved to secure accommodation very close to our loading bays for the officers who will be needed to be in place so that trucks can immediately start to move once we have the all clear from ODPEM to start distributing water, even while we turn on additional systems. Now, as we have said in the past, priority is given to hospitals, infirmaries, and indeed places of detention, and of course places of safety for our children, because that is where they are unable to help themselves in a particular way. But we can assure you that what we have updated is indeed in place. The steps we have taken for power supply, we believe, make us more resilient, certainly than we were a year ago, and we will continue to build on that resilience. But now is the time, as we believe we're wrapping up our preparations for the event. As Evan has said, we expect to start experiencing storm conditions this evening. Sometime tomorrow we will close off our intakes so that we reduce siltation in our reservoirs and major storage areas, so that we're able to restart the systems as soon as our energy supply turns on, either the temporary energy supply or JPS. This is a serious storm, but we are working with our international partners, certainly through the National Hurricane Center, who coordinate their information through the Met Service to give you the information that you need. We can confirm that we're working with all of our local partners also to make sure that we're able to respond to need for urgent water supply immediately after the storm, Minister Dixon. So with that, I will take my leave and head out.
Thank you. You can't go yet.
I just want to mention, I just saw a post from Noah Bergen, and Noah is a meteorologist in Orlando, Florida, with Fox 35 Orlando. And Noah said, "My worst fear is coming true. This will be a historic and deadly hurricane for Jamaica, one of the worst natural disasters from a hurricane in a long time," he said. He said he thinks Melissa is going to challenge the mathematical limit of intensity by Monday. He said this storm is on par or even overperforming the intensity forecasts. The eye has appeared on satellite, and he says this will be the first Category 5 hurricane ever in known history to strike Jamaica, he thinks. Noah Bergen also says while there is a mathematical limit to how intense the storm can get, the only thing limiting its intensity is itself, meaning internal processes of eye wall replacement cycles and other meteorological occurrences of high-end hurricanes. What he's saying is it's not being limited by wind shear, it's not being limited by the temperature of the water. There's moist air, there's not enough wind shear to limit it, there's warm water. He thinks, Orlando meteorologist Noah Bergen thinks, that sustained winds of 170 plus and gusts of over 200 are possible at maximum if it continues strengthening at this rate. He says the highest sustained wind speed ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin was 190 miles an hour from Hurricane Allen in 1980. Look, the National Hurricane Center said in their last update, they said they predicted this will get to a Cat 5. They said they're expecting it to rapidly intensify for the next 24 to 36 hours. And they said it could even intensify faster than forecasted. And in the last 9 hours, it's gone from 75 miles an hour to 115 miles an hour in 9 hours. Yeah, it is a very scary situation. Let me just show you quickly the current radar and satellite. Kenneth Cobb says the airport is right on the water. Where is the airport there? What, the one in the main airport? Mike H. says, a lot of meteorologists were saying this days ago. I'm surprised they were right. Well, it hasn't happened yet. I know it's the kind of the radar is popping on and off there on the screen. Sorry about that. I don't know why that's happening. Let me show you the tropical tidbits radar there. There is, sorry, the satellite shot. Here's the satellite. Certainly looks like we're seeing an eye on the, this is live, by the way. This is not earlier today. This is live. Certainly looks like we're seeing an eye on the satellite shot now. It's kind of hard to make out, but Jamaica itself is right here. One of our viewers said, look at the shortwave IR. Oh, there you go. Thanks. Our viewer, Sarah, suggested looking at the shortwave IR. Thank you, Sarah. There you go. You can see it opening up. You can look at these at tropicaltidbits.com. Tropical tidbits. You can see it there too. Look at this one. Wow. Wow. There's that eye, it looks like. Jason SK8SK says it's going to be a monster. JD63 says exploding. DB says that is an eye. Jim Lil says nasty. We checked the GFS before. The path was not much different going over Jamaica as the official forecast track. The new GFS model. Princess Kidda says crazy. Just looking at a couple of the other ones here. There's some different ones we can use. See the eye pop in on that one too. Wow. That's scary. That is scary, guys. Our viewer, Steve Hemerl, says it's not moving. 3 miles an hour. 3 miles an hour. That's a big part of the problem. Thank you, Foster Princess, for your support. Some people have asked about Guantanamo Bay. That is located here. So there is Jamaica. And then Guantanamo is here. Guantanamo. There's Guantanamo. Guantanamo Bay, I think, is down here, isn't it? Guantanamo Viewpoint. Guantanamo Bay Museum of Art. In there. But in terms of the forecast track related to that, I would have to, I don't remember, I'd have to pull it up. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is still supposed to be a major hurricane when it passes over Cuba, albeit weaker. And it's right now the forecast is it for it to pass fairly close to Guantanamo and Guantanamo Bay, but we'll have to see what happens. It's supposed to be still a major Cat 3 storm, at least, when it is getting closer to Cuba. That is the forecast track right there. It's supposed to make landfall right now early on Tuesday. Naval Doc said the naval station at Guantanamo had evacuated all non-essential personnel. Is that true? I haven't even looked that up. Yes, Naval Station Guantanamo Bay posted on Facebook. You can see right here. They said, all remaining U.S. non-mission essential personnel in zones 2 through 6 will be picked up via bus starting at 2300 tonight. Zones 5 and 6 non-essential personnel residing in Old and New Villamar, please report to your assigned zone bus stop with your ID orders and luggage for transport to the ferry. Certainly looks like they're evacuating some people from Naval Station Guantanamo. They talk about people departing the island with pets. Non-mission essential U.S. citizens will be moving off of Cuba as early as Saturday afternoon and no later than Sunday morning, they said. Naval Station, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. If you missed it, currently the rain forecast is for, well, I'll just show it to you. Melissa is expected to bring total rainfall of 15 to 30 inches to portions of southern Hispaniola and Jamaica into Wednesday, with local maxima of 40 inches possible. Additional heavy rainfall is likely beyond Wednesday. Uncertainty at that time range precludes exact storm totals. Storm surge, life-threatening storm surge, is becoming more likely along the south coast of Jamaica later in the weekend or early next week. Peak storm surge heights could reach 9 to 13 feet above ground level near and to the east of where the center of Melissa makes landfall. This storm surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. And if you missed it, Jamaica seeks shelter now. A multi-day period of damaging winds and heavy rainfall have begun and will cause catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides. Extensive infrastructural damage, long-duration power and communication outages, and isolation of communities are expected. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of the southern coast early next week. Also, some severe impacts expected in Haiti and Dominican Republic. For example, Haiti, catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti into early next week, likely causing extensive infrastructural damage and isolation of communities. Strong winds could last for a day or more over the Tiburon Peninsula. Christian Mendez says, I hope there's a miracle. Gracie Renee Paula thinks the landfalls will be as bad as well as the storm surge, flooding, and winds. Look at that. That is radar from tropicaltidbits.com, and that's about 4 hours. And look at that eye up here, right at the end there. Wow. That eye is really just in the last 2 hours really getting visible on the satellite. Kenneth Cobb says this is about 4 times the size of Jamaica. I mean, it is. You look at the size of the storm, at least the clouds, versus the size of the island. It's very scary. Let's check a little more of what the authorities were saying today in Jamaica. I want to just check that for a second. Hang on. Jamaican G says we are not leaving the island. Special shout out to anybody who might be watching from Jamaica. Please stay safe. Please take the precautions that the authorities are suggesting. This is an incredibly dangerous situation. Let's see the, hold on. It is now a Category 3. Who knows? It might, I don't know. You know, as of an hour ago, it was 115 mile an hour max sustained winds. For all I know, it's more now than it was then. And are there hurricane hunters up there right now? Yes, there is one in the storm. This plane, there is a plane, according to Tropical Tidbits, in the storm right now, taking measurements. Now, I think this was earlier where it got a 967 pressure, because 967 is the official pressure. We'll keep an eye on that. Grifter says the rainfall estimates are crazy. We have shown you that rainfall map. This rainfall map will be updated tomorrow. But to give you a general idea, dark purple is 30 plus inches, light purple is 20 to 30 inches. That is Jamaica. That here is southwestern Haiti, and this is the Dominican Republic over here. Mausengreld thinks it looks like a Cat 4 now. Mausengreld says Cat 5s usually have a dead round eye. It hardly even wobbles. I don't have any live cams available myself right now that I can show you. Daryl G says it has been exceeding expectations. I wouldn't be surprised if it reaches Cat 5. It is forecast now to become a Cat 5. GG says that I is too pronounced now. Let's go back and see a little more of that press conference from earlier today. Oops, that's Jeff's channel. Again, you can go to tropicaltidbits.com and you can see the satellite there. This one is quite a shot here. These two. Look at that. You can see, start to see the eye coming through there. Where's that other one? No, that's not the one. This one, right here. Oh, thanks so much to Brian Beelman. Hey, Brian, that's very kind of you. I really appreciate that, Brian Beelman. Thank you. Thanks also to Big Dog Gaming for your support. Thank you, Big Dog Gaming. Shout out to our moderators over on Twitch, Bastion Girl, Idaho Star, Matthew Kohai, 3 Papa Bear, and Riff Tracks. On Facebook, Kay Lowry Body, Shannon Davis Hughes, Margaret Riley, thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X. Ruth Grafasi is moderating right now over on YouTube. Thank you. Did I thank Foster Princess as well? Thank you. Oh, also shout out to CJ Breaks Things for the memberships. That's really nice of you, CJ Breaks Things. Also Patrick Zartman, our member, and Melissa Cam, our member. Thank you. Let's check a little more out of the... we were watching some earlier... I was showing you some of the... This was about 11 hours ago, but this was the briefing today from Jamaican authorities, and I was just trying to get a sense of what they were talking about in terms of, preparations. So let's watch a little more of this. I'm not playing the whole thing, but it's been interesting hearing some of the officials talk about it. Maybe, I'm guessing they might have one tomorrow. Maybe we'll cover it live if we're on the air.
We have a meeting after this. But up next, we have a very important update from a very important minister, Minister Green. And agriculture is the backbone of this country. And as you heard from Evan in terms of the amount of rainfall that we are expecting, there is a threat there, and also our fisher folk have been listening to you, Minister, and we thank you for your guidance. We see you out there doing the work. We see you all over St. Elizabeth and also briefing farmers. And so this morning we get to hear from Minister Floyd Green on his efforts and the efforts of his ministry. Minister.
Thank you very much, Minister Dixon, colleague, ministers, people of Jamaica. Good morning. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining has activated its emergency protocols and has convened its disaster management and mitigation committee. Our first phase has been to issue various advisories to our farmers and fishers around what to do in the event of this storm. Clearly, we now see that as the week has gone on, the storm has strengthened, and it appears based on the forecast, we are certain to get significant rain and significant wind. As such, we've been saying to our different types of farmers to take necessary precautions. Firstly, for them to be out there harvesting if they can. We have been working with a number of our farmers, our fruit farmers, our pepper farmers, to harvest what they have, to work with our agro-processes to provide those items so that they can minimize their losses. Additionally, we've been saying to our livestock farmers to ensure that they have sufficient feed for their animals, ensure that they have sufficient clean water for their animals. If the animals are in a flood-prone area, move them to higher ground. It is very, very important that they act now, especially in relation to preparing silage so that the animals will have feed during the storm. We've sent out advisories, and our RADA teams have been out in the ground. Literally, our extension officers have been visiting with farmers, saying to them, put these precautions in place. Clear your drains so that you can have the free flow of water. If you're banana and planting farmers, please get rid of the overhanging trees, prop up your plants, store your chemicals in a dry place. We know with a lot of rain comes the onset of fungus. You need to have your fungicides, store them so that when it is clear, and this is a very important part, we don't want anybody to be trying to venture out in the weather event to try to save their crops and animals. Oftentimes that causes loss of life. So make these preparations now. Put your chemicals in a safe place so that when it is clear, you can get out there and you can get back to what we love to do. Additionally, we saw a lot of damage to our greenhouse farmers in Hurricane Beryl. In fact, about 232 greenhouse structures were destroyed by Hurricane Beryl. A number of those farmers have not fully rebuilt as yet, are in the process of rebuilding. We've had a number of interventions to get those farmers back on their feet. We're asking them to follow the protocols. In fact, we have been literally calling our greenhouse farmers through RADA to say to them, ensure that you strip your greenhouses, take off the plastic so that the wind can pass through. Originally, we were just talking about rain. But as we have seen, based on the trajectory of the storm, which will likely become a hurricane, then we're going to have significant wind. So we're asking our farmers to follow the protocol. So the RADA team is out. Also, our Agro-Invest Corporation has been working with our agri-parks, looking at critical drains, trying to clean those drains so that we can reduce the impact of flooding. As such, the Sugar Company of Jamaica as well has been undertaking that, has been directed to undertake those works. In relation to our fishers, our message has been very, very clear. Come home. Secure your boats and secure your engines and do not venture out during this weather system. I must say that we've had very, very good uptake of our advisories from our officials. A number of them have made their ways from the Keys. A number of them have come back in, have pulled in their boats, and our extension officers from the Fisheries Authority are out checking, making final checks to help those fishers be ready for the inevitable that will come. Part of what we're doing now is to transition into looking at crafting our recovery. It is very, very clear that we will have significant negative impact on our agricultural sector. We have been having a very good year for agriculture. You know, our farmers showed tremendous resilience after Hurricane Beryl, leading us to what will be 3 quarters of significant growth in our agricultural sector. Unfortunately, Melissa is coming at a time that most farmers would have been capitalizing on the normal October rains to put in their crops to be ready for December, for the Christmas period. And as such, there is a lot at risk on the agricultural side. So we've already started to craft a disaster recovery plan. Clearly, that will be finalized depending on the extent of the damage, but already we have forward procured vegetable seeds because we do know that our vegetable crops are more susceptible to these weather-related events. So we already have in stock through our RADA offices some vegetable seeds so that we will be able to get out as quickly as possible. We've also secured some chemicals that we know will be important to distribute to our farmers after the weather event. We've also been engaging our partners, and I really want to thank the ones that have reached out extremely early. We've already had a meeting with our CARICOM counterparts around support that they plan to provide. We've already had an outreach from the FAO and from ECA in relation to indicating that they stand ready to assist Jamaica in relation to its recovery effort on the agriculture and fisheries side. So with all of that said, I will close by saying to our farmers and our fishers, please heed the warnings from the Met Office, follow the advisories that we will be issuing from RADA, from the National Fisheries Authority. Make your final preparations now. The government will be there to help you get through after all of this is passed. We have shown that with Hurricane Beryl that we are nimble enough to get to you quickly so that we can rebound in a robust fashion. Once there is life, there is hope. So please take the time to protect your life, and we will help you protect your livelihoods. Thank you.
Who's next?
Thank you, Minister Green, for that. He's going to do everything he can to help our farmers, and I know that. We did that in Beryl. You did an excellent job there, and I know that you'll continue to do that. Up next, we do have Minister Mackenzie, who is the lead minister in terms of a lot of this prep. He's the deputy chair of the National Disaster Risk Management Council, and he has oversight of ODPEM and other key agencies, and so he will come and give his update to you this morning. Minister Mackenzie.
Thank you, Minister. First of all, let me commend you on the excellent job that you have been doing since we started this series of press briefing, and to my colleague cabinet ministers, especially Minister Semuda, for carrying most of my areas over the last couple of days. And one of those days got you into some problems, but you were good enough to get out of it. Today is a day that many of us is contemplating as to what the outcome starting today will be. I want to start off by saying that Jamaica is in the top 5 most disastrous countries in the world. We sit in the middle of the earthquake fault line, and we are exposed to natural disasters. The pending impact of Melissa is not something that as a country we should take lightly. And even yesterday, engaging with some fellow Jamaicans, their argument is that we are a God-blessed country and we are gifted and the system will pass. Well, the Bible also reminds us that God helps those who help themselves. And I believe that we are at a point now where the government, the Ministry of Local Government, through the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, will have to take the necessary steps to ensure that we put in place the systems which exist that gives us the powers under the Disaster Act to ensure that Jamaicans comply and Jamaicans do what is necessary. Later on this afternoon, I'll be meeting with all the mayors, and one of the areas of concerns that has been brought to my attention, and I did a few surveys across the corporate here this morning, that there are several major construction sites that still has materials, sand, gravel, steel, and in some cases, cranes still hanging in the air. I'm going to make a general appeal this morning to all construction sites, not just only in the corporate here, but right across the country, that they must start to take the necessary steps to remove cranes, steels, sand, blocks, which will only contribute more to the blocking of our drains and can have devastating effects on individuals, people's property, and can result in extreme damage. Billboards should be taken down, and this is the work of the municipal corporations. So I am saying that all billboards should be taken down at this time and put in a safe place. You still have used car operators who continue to use the public thoroughfare to display their vehicles, park them overnight, just to advise that a team of wreck operators is presently combing the streets of the corporate area, and where we find these vehicles, we are going to remove them and take them to the Riverton City dump. We cannot afford to create human missiles that will hurt persons during this period. I am asking for the cooperation of those persons that I have just outlined a while ago. There has been some controversy coming from the opposition as it relates to the funds that they are claiming that they have not gotten to spend. And I want to spend a couple of minutes on it because I don't want to
I'm going to forward a little through this section. So I've been trying to give you just check out, this press briefing from earlier today, just give you a bit of a picture of what some of the government officials are saying there in Jamaica. So I'll skip ahead in a bit. I did want to mention, thanks to the viewer for reminding me, I saw this before. So the government did announce there that all of the airports were closing at 9 p.m. And I believe they still have that posted. You can see it says right here, all airports are closed at 9 p.m. today, October 25th. In response to the threat of Hurricane Melissa. But one airport did post that it was still open, Montego in Montego Bay, and our viewer mentioned that. Which viewer was it? Christopher Tucker mentioned that to me. And you can see Sangster International Airport, which is in Montego Bay, Jamaica. They say they will remain open until 12 noon on Sunday to accommodate flight operations. Then they will temporarily close for the safety of the storm, for safety during the storm. Airlines may add earlier extra flights. Please confirm with your airline before heading to the airport. Oh, and I should show you where that is. What is the main airport? I got to look that up too. I meant to look that up. So Montego Bay, as one of our viewers just pointed out, is on the north side. Here, there's Montego Bay. Is that the... Where, let me look up here. So Sangster is the three main airports are Sangster in Montego Bay, Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston, and Ian Fleming International Airport near Ocho Rios. So one in Ocho Rios, which is north, one in Montego Bay, and then Kingston is Ian Fleming International Airport. And that one of our viewers said this, I mean, that airport certainly could be underwater. I mean, that airport is right on the water there. You can see that. So, and that, I mean, right now, the forecast track has the storm moving right over the middle of the island, which would bring storm surge to the east of where it is. So that certainly could be flooded. Yeah, there's the track. So storm surge would be the general area where it comes ashore into the east of it. To say nothing of all the rainfall. Belteshazzar thinks the airport will be gone. Mausengreld said that airport is only 3 meters above sea level. Scooby thinks that airport will be gone after the hurricane. Yeah, as Gracie says, Montego will not be on the east side of the storm, so winds and storm surge will not be as bad. In theory, I mean, remember if you look at the rainfall graph, right now, the rainfall chart has much more rain on the east side of Jamaica than on the west side of Jamaica. The next intensity update from, I don't think we'll be on the air for it, from the National Hurricane Center will be, I think, at 2 a.m. I'll show you again the satellite. Where is it here? Hold on a moment. Show you a couple different ones. Satellite from Tropical Tidbits, tropicaltidbits.com. Check out Tropical Tidbits. Great tropical weather site. Where is this one? Definitely that storm looking more symmetrical now. Othmar says it's as big as the country. And here is the radar. The radar has been kind of not working that great. This is the radar from, I want to refresh it here. Sometimes when I've refreshed, it takes a second. Oh, there, that seems a little better. So there is the radar from Jamaica, and what you can see is some bands to the north of the storm moving ashore. The heaviest bands are not on shore yet, but this thing is going to be moving slowly and as it gets closer to Jamaica. Now there may be, you know what I should do? Hold on. Hold on. Where is that? Yeah, I don't know. There might be more. I don't know how far this radar reaches. So there might be more rain to the east that we're just not seeing on this radar. Excuse me. Right now, landfall is supposed to be early Tuesday. By the way, thanks so much to Brian Beelman. That's really nice of you, Brian. Thank you. Also, Jewish Pickle. Thanks for your support of the channel. I think we should check a little more of that press conference and just see maybe one of the other speakers. We were looking at the press conference from earlier today. So we saw him speak some. Does the Prime Minister speak? Hold on. The Prime Minister speaks at the end of the press conference. So let me show you some of what the Prime Minister had to say today earlier. Maybe we can be on for their live for the briefing tomorrow. Oops, hold on. Here.
And be gracious to us over the next couple of days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Now we're going to be hearing from our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness. Thank you, PM.
Thank you, Minister. Good morning, Jamaicans here and overseas. who may be watching this press briefing. Firstly, a few comments on the system itself. The system is quite an unusual one, sitting in the Caribbean Sea for such a long time, making up its mind where it will go. It is obvious that it now has a trajectory where we can, with great certainty, say that Jamaica will be impacted. Let me be clear that the entire Jamaica will be impacted by this storm. The outer bands seem to be very wide, and it is already affecting the Dominican Republic and Haiti with significant rainfall. We should expect the same. So the first impact that we should be preparing for would be heavy rains. Once it becomes a major hurricane, which is projected to be within a day, then we will have heavy winds. The third impact will be the length of time that it will stay. If it continues to be as slow moving as it has been, then we could expect anywhere from 2 to 3 days. Would that be correct, Evan? Or even longer. So those are the three things you should be, in your mind, be prepared for. Now, I know that there are many Jamaicans who are anxious, who are very concerned, and rightfully so. You should be concerned. But the best way to address anxiety and any nervousness and concern is to be prepared. So I would urge all my fellow citizens, everyone who is now feeling nervous, anxious, uncertain, that now is the time to be prepared. And the elements of preparedness for a hurricane would be, first of all, you want to protect your shelter. That's absolutely critical, because in a hurricane, you would need to be somewhere where you can be sheltered. Roofs, windows, start there. Battening down. So I noticed that many Jamaicans are putting building blocks on their zinc and so forth. That is a solution, but a better option would be to use sandbags, which stay longer and are not likely to be blown off. If you can find plywood or anything of that form to protect your windows, that would be useful. We always say to remove threatening branches from trees. We have seen one incident where someone was injured trying to do that, so we advise that if you're doing that, be super careful in doing that. The next layer of preparation would be to look for areas that are vulnerable to flooding. If you find that your yard is below road level or in a water zone, meaning you have built in a river course, you're on a slope, you're near to the sea, you're in a low-lying area, you're close to or on a gully bank, or historically, you are in an area where the river may change course. You want to take protective measures. And again, simple sandbagging can be useful in directing water away from your shelter. Once you have sorted out your shelter issues, then you have to look for sustenance, food and water. Make sure that you have food that is non-perishable and water that is in proper containers, scaled to the number of persons who live in your household. Then you want to look for ensuring that you have at least some form of lighting, because it is highly likely that the electricity will go either preemptively or as a result of the storm itself. Batteries and flashlights are recommended, The good old home sweet home lamp is always there, but we're always very careful, last resort. Batteries and flashlights, today's technology with LED lights, you can have lights going for a little while in the night. Solar lamps are always good to have. These are things that you would want to have in your possession. Of course, in today's world, telecommunications is important. Make sure you have at least some credit if you use prepaid plans, that you keep your devices safe. And we can't give you any guarantee that throughout the storm you will have full coverage. It is likely that you may have some coverage at some point, but you should always, in your hurricane plan, be prepared that you may be out of communication. But nevertheless, keep your instruments safe. Don't let them get wet, so that at least if the signals were to come back, you'll be able to connect. Now, having done all of that, there is another important thing which we ask you to do. Keep your documents safe. Now, your identification, your passport, any prescriptions that you may need to be refilled, your land titles and all of those things, keep them safe. Keep them in a safe place. Yes, there would be distribution of benefits without the need for identification, but that would be very limited. In fact, in the humanitarian relief and recovery phase, I would say that most, if not all, the distribution of benefits will require some form of identification because of the accountability issues that, even though it's a hurricane, we can't suspend accountability. So keep your identification safe. There are some other things that we would want you to do in being prepared. Speak with your children about the hurricane because they are going through their own uncertainty crises, which you may not immediately recognize. They may not take it seriously. Some may think of it as fun, and they may run outside and run in the rain playing football, and accidents can happen. We urge you to have a frank discussion about what to expect in a hurricane and why it is important to stay sheltered during the hurricane. We don't want to have any deaths during the hurricane. And an important part of that is to keep your household inside safe. Outside of that, communities are an important response tool to the hurricane. I remember during Gilbert, the community in which I live, everyone came together. And that helped to keep the community safe. It helped to deal with emergencies and just good old sitting down, talking, dealing with the challenges that would have occurred. In today's parlance, we say it helps with the mental health. So community is important. Looking on your neighbor, reach out to your neighbor, find out what is happening, ask how you can help, or ask for help. Very important. Outside of that, there is the local government response. And Minister Mackenzie would have addressed this issue of what the local government is tasked and resourced to do. And then there is the national response. Now, I know that at this time, there are many persons who simply have no resources at all. They are not able to go to the supermarket and buy even one bag of crackers. I am aware. And we have tasked the Ministry of Social Security to start to pre-position supplies, but in all reality, we wouldn't be able to get supplies to everyone who is genuinely in need of the supplies. The most immediate first respond responder is usually, it's either your church or your member of parliament or your councillor, the police. So we are going to make provisions for the councillors and the members of parliament to be able to, where they can, because they are humans too and they wouldn't be able to be out in this storm, but as much as they can, we will resource them to be able to assist. They will, and I'll be clear with this, they will not be able to assist every case. It's just physically not possible. But in as much as cases are brought to their attention, their network of workers and community activists and so forth would have brought cases to their attention, then we can assist. We are very grateful and very thankful for the philanthropic organizations that exist in certain communities that are already starting to mobilize and doing work. We intend to reach out to most and cooperate with them and assist them in being able to get supplies and distribute. Which leads me to another point of preparedness nationally, and that at this time there must be a unified position with all the civic stakeholders and all our political stakeholders. And so I have been in communication with the leader of the opposition. We should meet today at, I believe, 12:30, and I will give the opposition a full brief. I'm certain that they will have suggestions which we will listen to and take on board. And if determined, then we will have a Zoom call with members of parliament. I know many of them are in the field, so it depends on how many that we would be able to mobilize. But we have already provisioned them with resources to clean drains and gullies. I know many of them are out in the field supervising these works. From being a member of parliament myself and having gone through this many, many times over, your constituents are of the belief that every drain and every gully is going to be cleaned. That may not be possible. Certainly, you would need much more equipment mobilized than we have capabilities to do, much more supervision. And so what the MPs would be doing would be trying to concentrate on the main ones. That is where their efforts would be. So if you didn't see the drain running behind your yard being cleaned, don't believe that no work is happening. Work is happening, but it may not be in your locality. That is being monitored by the NWA, and we will get a report very soon as to how many drains we were able to clean. That is indeed a very important preemptive action when it comes to treating with flooding. So outside of that, from an administrative point of view, all our entities have been tasked and mobilized. I suspect all the officers understand what the mission is. It is, from all indications, it is going to be a direct hit, and all of Jamaica will be impacted. I urge everyone to be wise about this, to put aside the nervousness and the anxiety, and be practical, prepare, as I have outlined, how we should be prepared, and continue to pray. We have seen hurricanes at the last moment take a turn for the better. And I still have hope that the impact will not be as bad as it is shaping up to be. But we will prepare for the worst and continue to pray for the best. The impact, whatever it is, the preparation can have some mitigating effect on the impact, but the real work starts the hour after the impact. And what we have done in terms of national preparedness is to put everything in place to be able to respond the hour after the impact. And that is how quickly we intend to recover from this hurricane. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
All right, so that was the Prime Minister.
Okay, thank you, everyone. You would have heard earlier from Minister Vaz. You also heard from Minister Mackenzie, Minister Green, and also Minister Samuda. If you have any questions, and Prime Minister just closed out, and I see the Observer has the first question.
Good morning. Good morning, still Prime Minister. A quick one for you. You speak about the recovery. In your administration had started a cat bond with the World Bank with about US 150 million. Not sure if Hurricane Beryl.
I'm not going to play this right now. I'm not going to play this. But we heard from a bunch of the officials, including the Prime Minister. Now, this was in the morning on Saturday, and the forecast during the day got worse. It is now forecast to become a Category 5. The rain forecast got worse. The storm surge forecast got worse, if I'm remembering right. It's there have right now. This is forecast to be a Cat 5 storm, rapidly intensifying for the next 24 to 36 hours. It is currently a Category 3 storm, and so this is, if I'm remembering right, certainly yesterday when we covered this, it was not forecast to be a Cat 5. And during the day, between yesterday and today, the storm surge went from 5 to 10 feet to 7 to 11 feet, and now it's at 9 to 13 feet. Also, since yesterday, the forecast rain totals have gone up. Some Italian guy says it's real bad. One of our viewers, Black Irish, said that since the U.S. is deploying naval forces to the Caribbean, the carrier strike group, in theory, they could be in a position to offer search and rescue operations if necessary. I don't know if this was super disastrous. Could the U.S. military ships end up helping out with emergency operations? That I don't know. Maybe the U.S. would send other ships down there. I don't know. It's a good question. One of our viewers just mentioned the recon data. There is a plane in the storm right now. Oh, let me show you this. This is from Tropical Tidbits, which you can go to, tropicaltidbits.com. There is a plane in the storm right now. You can go there and get the recon aircraft observations. I'm not seeing anything from the last hour or so that's... Now, I don't know where this is in this. You can look at where it is in the storm, but not everywhere in the storm is going to have the worst conditions. So at least over the last couple hours, this hasn't gotten a pressure lower than... There doesn't look to be any pressure or wind speed, lower pressure or higher wind speed than we've seen before. But you can see it goes... This is basically right there. This right here, if you go here, hold on, I'll show you. So... this is looking down. There's Jamaica right here. And this shows you, and there's the plane right there. But what it is you're looking down like on a satellite shot, and you're seeing the plane will fly over different parts of the storm and take readings. But not every pass it does is going to have the highest wind speed or the lowest pressure. It depends on where it is in the storm. So it's taking various readings. There's one in there right now. Now, one WGT Bollocks claims it was down to 959 on the last center fix. That I don't know. That I don't know. Oh, is it right here? Is this what it is? Oh, right here, last 10 minutes of observations. And it says MSLP as of the recent observations. It's mean sea level pressure. So this says 960, as our viewer said, 959.2. That's what our viewer said. 959.2. Now, that's the mean sea level pressure. So will they just say that's the pressure in the storm, 959? I don't know. The official pressure in the last update was what, 967, I think? If I have this right. (967) is the last official pressure from an hour and a half ago. Anyways, you can go to Tropical Tidbits and watch these. You can look at the data as it comes in. TropicalTidbits.com. You can look in the data as it comes in from these flights. That's interesting. So maybe that's the pressure now. If it's the lower pressure means a stronger storm, by the way. The radar, currently radar is, people were asking about the radar. There is the current, is that current? I might have to refresh this. There is your current radar for the last several hours, and you can see those. The heavier bands of rain are getting closer to the island. There, look at that eye on. Look at that eye on the rain radar. Really clearing out the last couple hours. And then we've also been looking on Tropical Tidbits at the satellite loop. Let me show you a different one here. And you see on the satellite the eye come into better view. Look at that right there. And it is not going fast. 3 miles an hour. Yeah, this could be the strongest hurricane ever to hit Jamaica. But also, it's slow moving, which is really bad as well. Gilbert when it made landfall in Jamaica back in 1988, the pressure was 960 and the max sustained winds were 130, which I believe makes it a high category 3 Hurricane Gilbert when it made landfall. Oh, no, it was a Cat 4. You know what? I just looked up. I guess it was a low Cat 4 because 130 would be Cat 4. Where is it? I just had a page open which talked about this. Where is my page I just had open? Yes, according to the National Weather Service, Hurricane Gilbert made landfall in 1988 near Kingston, Jamaica, as a Cat 4. It was a Cat 4 with 130 mile an hour winds. This is supposed to make landfall with a higher wind speed than that. And that track was interesting. It went right across. It was going from east to west, basically. Gilbert. You can actually see that on the Wikipedia page, which I'll show you. Where am I? Here. You know where I am. If you can look here, this is Hurricane Gilbert. And what you can see how it moved. It moved from west to east, or I'm sorry, east to west. East to west. So this is different. The hurricane now is going to be going from southwest to northeast. So that was Gilbert. Oops. But that eye has really gotten on the radar quite circular and well defined over the last couple hours. Yeah, I don't know when they're going to do. I mean, there's another update in an hour. But, this storm is supposed to strengthen it's supposed to be rapidly intensifying over the next 24 to 36 hours. I wonder, the last update, the wind speed max was 115, Cat 3. Could it be a Cat 4 by the next update? I mean, given how it's been developing, and it looks like the pressure is dropping, I think it's going to be above 115. Matthew Capucci, who's a weather specialist, made an interesting point. What he said is that so this storm, in the last update, they said it's moving slightly south. It's moving west, but slightly south, they said. And what Matthew said is he thought that would give it a little more time to actually strengthen. Are they evacuating? Michaela Duke says. I have not heard any kind of reporting about widespread evacuations. We just watched a bunch of the press conference from today. We didn't watch all of it, but we watched a bunch of it. And I didn't hear them talking about evacuations. I don't think I heard the word evacuation once. But I certainly didn't hear it emphasized. So I don't know if they'll start talking about it more, but I don't know what kind of resources they have to do it. Cynthia says just tourists are leaving. Yeah, they did mention visitors trying to get out. When I'm saying evacuation, though, I'm thinking like, if you think it's going to be much worse on the east side of the island, could you evacuate people to the west side of the island? Or if people are on the coast where there's supposed to be the really bad storm surge, do you just get them away from the coast? I mean, Kingston might have bad storm surge, so that could involve a lot of people. But it doesn't have to be evacuating people off the island. You could do just in the same way in the U.S. If there's a storm, people might evacuate away from the coast. But they didn't really discuss it in what we were listening to, for whatever that's worth. Jamaican G says people mandatorily evacuated themselves. Maybe some people have evacuated themselves. One of our viewers, a red girl, I think might be in Jamaica, and said that there was shortage of stuff at stores, which I could certainly understand if people were trying to stock up. Do they have a messaging service for updates, says Chris F? They very well might. I'm not on it. But they very well might. I don't know if they have, if they send messages out to residents. I've been looking at some of the government posts there. That's looking scary. Look at the end here. I am not a weather specialist, but as one of the viewers said, when it gets really intense, it gets more circular, more symmetric. The eye is better defined. This is certainly looking on the radar more circular, more symmetric, with a better defined eye. Just in the last couple hours. Red Girl says, I'm not in Jamaica, but I have family that lives in Jamaica. I hope your family is okay. So, just the last couple hours, that's looking scary. Look at this one. Again, you can find this tropical tidbits. You can find these satellite shots on tropical tidbits. Is there a chance it could miss Jamaica? There's a chance, but the models are pretty consistent in saying it's not. So something would have to drastically change. But the National Hurricane Center said there's a bunch of agreement among different models on where this thing is headed, at least over the next, I think, 72 hours, they said. Matthew Capucci, who's a weather specialist, thinks it is almost guaranteed that this will be a Cat 4 by 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Meteorologist and storm chaser Hunter Fowkes says that the eye has significantly improved over the last few hours, signs that rapid intensification is in full effect. If you just look at for example, this is one spaghetti diagram from Tropical Tidbits with various models. But what you can see is most of the models, the large majority of the models have it basically in the same place, moving west and then making a turn and going right over. There's a couple outliers that don't, but most of them have it going right over the island there. Yeah, they'll update, the National Hurricane Center will update by 2 in the morning, 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, I would not at all be surprised. It certainly looks like it's strengthening, and experts have said it's strengthening. And aircraft recon, as a viewer pointed out, it seems... Oh, this is the last 10 minutes. That's the last 10 minutes. But, yeah, see right there? See, it says 9:59. So, a little while ago, the Hurricane Hunter aircraft got a pressure reading of 9:59. You can see previously it was 9:67. Well, it got a 9:59. So that's a significant drop. And that might be, maybe when they come out with the 2 a.m. update, they'll say the pressure is 9:59. Oh, the recent wind speed reading was... That's flight level wind. The blue is flight level wind. So I don't think you can... The max sustained winds is not max sustained flight level winds. Max sustained winds is at an altitude of 10 meters above the ground. The official classification for max sustained winds is 10 meters above the ground. So you can't just read off of the flight level wind and say, oh, the max sustained winds are that much, because that's different. There was a recent estimated surface speed of, this looks like about 105 knots. Is that what that looks like here? 105 knots? A 105 knots is 121 miles an hour. So if this is the SFMR wind is an estimate of the surface wind speed. So this reading from about half an hour ago looks to me like maybe it was a 105 knots, which would be 120 miles an hour, which would be higher than 115, which is the official wind speed. R. Walt thinks 959 would be a low-end Category 3. Well, it already is a Category 3 at 967. Again, check out tropicaltidbits.com. You can get all this information there. Oops, sorry. Yeah, we'll certainly be covering this the next couple of days. I mean, it's just going to get worse, unfortunately. And I mean, it's supposed to. Oops, sorry, you can't see this. It's supposed to be strengthening all day on Sunday. Simon for president thinks it will hit Cat 4 in 6 to 8 hours, and then Cat 5 when it hits land. Hang on one moment. AP reports that the erratic and slow-moving storm has killed at least 3 people in Haiti and a 4th person in the Dominican Republic, where another person remains missing. What happened to this? That's what I wanted to put. I want to put this over here. I think what I'm going to do, guys, is, so we're going to be covering this more. I think, it's 1:17 a.m. here. I think I might try to get some rest. This is certainly expected to strengthen over the coming hours, but it's going to be getting closer. We're going to be doing more coverage. So I think right now, I'm going to start wrapping up this live update, and we will definitely be doing more coverage as this storm gets closer, as the rain gets worse. It's going to get a lot worse. And then eventually, maybe early Tuesday, if not earlier, it'll make landfall. But things are going to get worse as that storm gets closer. It's ramping up, it's strengthening. More rain going to be moving towards the island. Winds will be picking up. So we're going to be covering this as things develop. Yeah, Gigi says it's a marathon event. I agree with you there. Maybe I can be on when they do their press conference tomorrow in Jamaica. Maybe they'll do more than one. I don't know. But we can watch it anyways, assuming they do one. I assume they'll do one. So look, if you are in Jamaica, or you're in Haiti, Dominican Republic, or any other countries around there like Cuba, you should be keeping an eye on the storm. But I mean, follow it, listen to your authorities, take it seriously, and do what you need to do to stay safe. This looks like it's going to be devastating. Again, there is that current forecast track. But remember, there's supposed to be huge amounts of rainfall in parts of Haiti and the Dominican Republic as well. But the worst is supposed to be Jamaica. C6R1S says landfall expected in around 50 hours. Yeah, I mean, give or take. For now, we'll see how that might change. The storm surge 9 to 13 feet they're forecast to get. So anyways, we're going to be covering this. We'll be doing more coverage. Quick reminder that thanks to tropicaltidbits.com for letting me show their site, which is really cool of them. It's a great site, Tropical Tidbits. And you can go there now if you want. You can go there during the evening. You can look at the live satellite shot on Tropical Tidbits. You can look at the aircraft recon at Tropical Tidbits. You can get satellite. You can look at the forecast models. I'll actually post a link to tropicaltidbits.com in the chat. But you can go there right now and you can check. I'll be looking at it when I'm off the air. So check it out, Tropical Tidbits. I am posting the link there in the chat. I just posted it. Hold on a second here. There it is. So we will be keeping an eye on this. Scary looking. I really appreciate people being here for the stream and tuning into the coverage. A lot of you have been sending me updates and what you're hearing about the hurricane and sharing your weather knowledge and stuff you're hearing about Jamaica. So thanks for sharing your comments and your questions and your updates. We'll have more coverage in the coming days. It's not even, I mean, in theory, right now it's not projected to make landfall until early Tuesday. Okay. But appreciate you watching. If you want, you can subscribe, follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news coverage. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. Agenda Free TV. Hold on, what was I going to put up there? Where is it? Where to go? Why didn't the Google DeepMind update for hours? Shouldn't it be? It said it's for. I looked at the Google AI ensemble, and it's just said for hours. It said for Saturday, 1800 UTC. Shouldn't it be updating every 6 hours or something? I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye on it. But this was over 6 hours ago. It was there was no new run of this. I figured it would update every 6 hours. Or at least however it updates, but it seems like it hasn't updated for a while. So I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up with that. I'll have to read up on it. Here's the Jamaica radar, by the way. But again, I really appreciate people joining the stream. I will post updates on my X account, which is @Lookner on X. You can follow me there for breaking news updates. Hold on. There, @Lookner on X. I will be posting updates there. I appreciate people sharing their weather knowledge in the chat. I would suggest you turn on the notifications for the channel. Why am I not? You know, periodically I try to load the radar and it doesn't really work well. Kind of goes in and out, the Jamaica radar. I'll put the satellite on. I would suggest turn on our notifications so you know when we're going live. I don't know in advance when big news is going to happen, but you can get sent a notification whenever we go live. You can say it sent a message, and just sign up for the free notifications. The mods will post a link to the notifications in the chat. And you can find the link to the free notifications in the YouTube and Facebook description for this broadcast. Thanks so much to our moderators. Huge thanks to our moderators. You guys are awesome. We could not have our chat rooms without our moderators. I really appreciate them being here during our coverage. This satellite is up to date. You can see it says 515Z, which is 4 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. So every 10 minutes it updates another loop. So this is an updating satellite shot. Thanks so much to our moderators, Ruth Krafasi, Roberts Mayqueen on YouTube. Thank you. All of our other YouTube moderators, thanks. And Idaho Star, Matthew Kohai 3, Sarah, Papa Bear, Riff Tracks, and all of our other Twitch moderators, huge thanks. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X. Kay Larry Body, Margaret Riley, Shannon Davis Hughes on Facebook, thank you. Thanks Chuck Mosca for subscribing over there. Thanks, Chuck. And what is with the... Oh, radar is back. Hey, we got the Jamaica radar back. There you go. Yeah, I mean, as this gets closer, more of those heavy bands are going to start moving in to the island, to Jamaica. But there is that radar with that eye. Thanks so much to everybody who donated. That is super nice of you, Brian Beelman and everybody else. I think I thanked everybody. But that is what allows the channel to be on the air, is your support. Let me make sure. I might have missed people. Hold on. Did I thank Brandon Tingley, our new member? I thought I did thank Brandon. Yes. So thanks for your support. If you ever want to donate, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But thank you so much. By the way, I will be on the lookout for live. I should have some live footage to show you as we get closer to landfall. But I'll be on the lookout. I've reached out to a couple storm chasers too, so we'll have to see how that. I don't even know how much they're going to be able to stream. I hope they just stay safe. I mean, I don't know how the communications are going to be there. Another good way to find out when we're live is to follow us on X, which is @AgendaFreeTV. I always post on our X account before we go live. I post updates about the channel, so you can follow on X if you're on X, @AgendaFreeTV. Where did our radar go? There. We do have a Discord chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air, the Agenda Free TV Discord chat. It's free. A bunch of our viewers like doing that. It's the same link as the link to sign up for the free notifications. So check out our Discord chat. Thanks so much to our Discord moderators, by the way. Really appreciate it. I guess maybe one lucky thing, I don't know if this is really lucky. My thought was, if this was a little further north in doing this, at least at the moment, it's not close enough that the really big bands are hitting it right now. I mean, they're getting rain. My point is, if it was a bit more north and it was going across, you could have a longer time for those super heavy bands. But maybe at that point, what's going to happen is when it starts moving towards it, you're going to have a longer time that way. Because eventually it's going to turn and go towards, it's going to move northeast, and then you're going to have a very slow approach. The event says, I was supposed to fly to Jamaica on October 31st. I now wonder if the airport will be wiped out in Kingston. Real quick, just to mention this, if you do watch us on YouTube, I would suggest that you turn the notifications on YouTube. Another good way to find out when we're live. To do that, what you need to do is on YouTube, you need to subscribe if you want to turn the notifications on, and then you click the bell and you choose all notifications. If you're already subscribed, make sure you've clicked the bell and chosen all notifications. I want to shout out to our, maybe we'll do a quick poll. We haven't done a poll as we're getting off the air. The poll will be, what category will it be in the next update? The next update is supposed to be in half an hour, probably less than that. But really quick, do you think it'll be a Cat 3 still, or will it get to Cat 4? I'm giving you two choices, 4 or 3. Sorry, Facebook, they haven't fixed the polls yet over there. Really quick, this is our flash poll, quick poll. Okay, I said, what category will it be in the next update? And let's see, our super late end of the stream poll. YouTube, people said 75% think it's going to be a 4 in the next update. Over on YouTube. How about Twitch? What does Twitch say? What does Twitch say? 67% say 4 on Twitch. You guys think it's going to be a 4. All right, we'll have to see. Thank you so much to our Twitch subscribers who support the channel, like Wall Street and Shaggy and Sarah, Matthew Kohai 3, Gina Pina, Stunned in the North, Jazzy Renee. Should have shouted you out earlier, my bad. And all of our other Twitch subscribers, thanks so much. Our Facebook subscribers, thank you, Chuck Mosca, Shannon Davis Hughes, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, Sharon Klassen Goslin. Thanks, Paul Anderson was modding too. Thanks, Paul. Michael Clayton, thank you. Diane Allworth. And all of our other subscribers over there, and our members on YouTube, like Theodore Johnson. Theodore thinks it's going to be a high Cat 3 in the next update. Pierre Dubois, CAC 813, JD63, Red Girl, Bunny, Sean C, Chris F, Patricia Grace, Kenneth Colton. The 2 a.m. update is not like the big, it's an update, but it's not going to be where they update the forecast track and where they update the forecast discussion and all that. That's every 6 hours. But they will update the statistics for the figures for the hurricane at the top of the hour. Thanks, Pierre Dubois, for being a member. Red Girl, Danny G, Megatron, Dupper Bob, Don, Thomas Darwin, Truth WSYF, Kenneth Colton, and all of our other YouTube members. I'm just going to check one other thing. I'm going to see if any of the weather people I follow, the specialists, are. It just updated. Guys, the update just came out. The update just came out. It came out early. So I'm going to be able to show it to you right now. I know it came out. I haven't seen the figures. But they just posted on X that the update came out. All right, hold on. Let's see what they're saying. They just updated. It is not a Cat 4, it is a Cat 3. It's interesting. The pressure is at 958. So we were looking on Tropical Tidbits at the recon data from the airplane. We saw a reading of 959. One of our viewers first pointed that out. 959, and it says pressure is 958. And as I mentioned, remember I said that we saw a surface level wind estimate of 105, which would be 105 knots, which would be 120 miles an hour. Well, they have the max sustained wind at 120. So the max sustained wind the pressure has dropped from 967 to 958, significant drop. Max sustained wind has gone from 115 to 120. It would need to go to 130 to be a Cat 4. So there you go. We got the update. Yeah, Zambo says early update. Well, they sometimes will make an early update like that. Also, it's possible that they just don't think that there's not a hurricane. They're not anticipating getting any new information between now and 20 minutes from now. It's going to change. You know, there's not another plane up there that's going to take another reading in that location where they think they're going to get a low, you know, more very, very different numbers. But again, it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of neat when you can look at Tropical Tidbits and you can go over there and you can look at the aircraft recon and you actually see on the recon, you see, oh, they got a reading of 959 for the pressure. And it ended up being the update was 958. And as we showed you, I said, hey, look, this looks like about 105 estimated surface level wind, which would be 120 sustained wind, surface level wind. And what did they do? Ultimately the update came out and they had it at 120. So not a big surprise, those numbers, given what we saw from the recon. All right. So anyways, I'm glad. I would have told people to stick around for an extra 10 minutes, but I didn't know they were going to give it that early. But I'm glad those of you who stuck around got to see that update. So this storm is still strengthening, certainly strengthening. Again, it's at 120 miles an hour. I think 12 hours ago it was at 75 miles an hour or something like that. So it has really strengthened, and it's supposed to continue strengthening through the day. Confidence in God says, I'm glad I was wrong about the category. Kenneth Colton says, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Deborah Barron says, Cat 1 storms can cause devastation. She says it's the speed of the storm. It's still a horrible situation. Yeah, very slow moving hurricane. Now it is sped up a little bit. I didn't notice this. It's now at 5 miles an hour. I don't know that was it was at 3 miles an hour before. It was at 5. I don't know if that was unexpected. I mean, eventually it's supposed to be moving faster as it starts passing over the island. I don't know how significant the 3 to 5 move is. I mean, for what it's worth, when you look at this forecast track, it is supposed to speed up over time. These are 12-hour, distances. And by the time it gets close, it's going from there to there in 12 hours, which is more than from here to here. So that's something to keep an eye on, the speed. Gigi says, glad it is not A4 yet. Okay. One of the viewers asked what the average speed of a hurricane is. According to Google AI, the average speed of a hurricane is around 10 to 15 miles an hour, with some sources saying 11 to 12 for the Atlantic Basin, but this can vary significantly. WGT Bollock said average would be around 12 to 15. All right, guys, we're wrapping this up. I really appreciate you being here. I'm planning on doing more coverage of this, but as one of our viewers said, this is a marathon. This is going to be happening for the next several days. Thanks, Kevin Muller, for watching on Facebook. By the way, Javier Segala for watching over there. Chuck Mosca, Shayna Braun, Jamie Langerich, Bunny, thanks for being a member. Thanks, Laura Hunter, for watching. I'm going to try to get some rest. That's what I'm going to do. Thanks, Jason SK, for watching. Zambo says it would be a gift if it stayed stagnant. Jim Aconius, thanks for watching too. Strong One, Grief FB, Grief PB. All right, guys, that is it. I'm wrapping it up. You've been watching our live coverage, our live update on Hurricane Melissa. More coverage to come. Extremely worrying, concerning, dangerous situation for Jamaica. Also, significant, major effects are going to be felt in the coming days in Haiti and Dominican Republic as well. But the worst of it is supposed to be Jamaica. So we will be covering this more. That is it for right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.